What's up, guys? We are back for another gospel reading. It's been a couple weeks since I did this, since I've been traveling and I've been busy with schoolwork and stuff, but hopefully trying to get back on track and doing this every week. So today's reading is going to be from the Gospel of Luke, once again, since we're in year C of the Catholic Church cycle, and it's going to be about the Pharisee and the tax collector. It's going to be Luke chapter 18, verse 9 to 14, if you want to follow along. He also told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Two men went up into the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself: God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I give tithes of all that I get. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even lift his eyes up to heaven, but beat his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, the man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but he who humbles himself will be exalted. This parable that Jesus talked about today is really, I think it's a wake-up call for me, but also could be for a lot of other people as well. Because Christians, even though we're called not to judge, there will be times where we feel like, oh, well, I did this thing, but I'm not as bad as that person. Or like, geez, I'm glad I'm not doing as bad things as they're doing. But really, all sin is the same in God's eyes. So we shouldn't be casting blame or judging others without first looking at ourselves. The idea of he who is without sin cast the first stone, right? This idea of like, I can see somebody else and knows they're doing something bad, but judging them as if I'm better, even though I sin as well, isn't the right attitude to have. Yeah, I know I've done this before, even with friends in my own life, just being like, oh man, I guess I make mistakes, but at least I'm not doing what they're doing. Like, geez, they're weird, they're crazy. Definitely a wake-up call for me to be less judgmental towards others and not hold others in a lesser view because of actions I perceive as bad. It's something that's hard to get over, just that judgment of like, man, but I really think we're doing this bad. But again, all sin is the same in God's eyes. Doesn't matter if what we do is technically better. We can't use others' actions to justify our own, right? That's what the Pharisee says. He says, God, I thank you that I'm not like other men who do these awful things. Like, I do these good things. I pay my tithes, which is the weekly giving to the church. I fast twice a week. And sure, people can actually be doing good things, but it doesn't mean we're perfect, right? Saying like, oh, I'm above all these other people because I am a Christian, I'm doing all these good things, right? It's not the right attitude to have. Like, Christians were called to be humble servants, not called to do it for show, or just say like, oh, well, clearly, since I do these great things, I'm better than other people. And yes, I have done this before. I'm definitely guilty to this, being like, well, then I'm better than my non-Christian brother because I'm living life for the right reasons and I'm doing all the right things and stuff. But really, it comes down to what purpose are we doing it for? Are we doing good deeds for the sake of being better than others? Or are we really doing it to serve God and to serve others? Right? We can say either way, you're doing good things, right? But the attitude in your mind is really what matters, right? And so, yes, doing good things is objectively good, right? Like I said, like he's fasting, he's paying his dues to the church, but he's doing it to have this like moral like righteousness and be like, oh, I'm a righteous man, I do these good things. I clearly don't sin, unlike these other people. But then it's like, no, you have to put yourself to some degree on their level. If you're going to serve others, you have to some degree understand that you're not that far above them, right? Like, really see it as someone who is going through not the same things as you, but still struggling with their own sins, right? If you go with the view of they're all sins are the same in God's eyes, then, and I can do this better too, I feel like it's a lot harder to judge people when you think all sins are the same in God's eyes. Like, oh, I guess I'm doing this thing, but it's not as bad as that. If you see it as, yes, all sins are bad, all sins are equally bad, even though it's not the same necessarily on earth and like human judgment, it is the same with God. And so, yeah, it's a great gospel to reflect on how we can judge others and feel like we're better sometimes, and how we can turn that attitude into better, saying, like, I'm doing good to serve God and to serve others, not to be better than them, right? So that's my reflection for this week. Thanks for all the hate comments on last Monday's video. It was so much fun to read. And yeah, I don't care if someone thinks he just hates me. He loves all of you guys. So fine by me. And so I'll see you guys, yeah, on Wednesday. God bless. Peace out.